Have you ever said something you didn't believe, just to keep the peace? Have you ever felt a strange emptiness right after someone praised you, as if their approval was a hollow echo in a room that you expected to be full? Have you ever silenced a bold idea, a passionate belief, not because you doubted it, but because you feared the silence, the strange looks, or the quiet judgment that might follow? This isn't just a fleeting feeling. It is a fundamental conflict of the human soul, a battle fought in silence every single day. We are taught from our first breath that the path to happiness is paved with the approval of others. Get good grades to please your teachers. Follow the rules to please your parents. Agree with the group to please your friends. We learn to perform, to polish a version of ourselves that is acceptable, agreeable, and safe. We become actors in our own lives, and we get so good at playing the part that we forget who we are when the curtain falls. But what if this entire system, this relentless chase for validation, is not the path to happiness but a cage? A comfortable, warm, and gilded cage, but a cage nonetheless. What if the approval you seek is the very thing that is making you weak, predictable, and small? There was a philosopher who saw this sickness in the heart of humanity with terrifying clarity, a man who took a hammer to the foundations of Western thought and dared to ask the questions that nobody else would. His name was Friedrich Nietzsche, and his message was not one of comfort. It was a declaration of war against the quiet desperation of living for others. He argued that the need for approval is a form of self-betrayal, a slow poison that paralyzes your will and trades your potential for greatness for the fleeting warmth of belonging. This video is not about learning a few tips to be more confident. It is an invitation to begin a dangerous journey. A journey to understand why you crave approval, to see the pathetic future that this craving leads to, and to discover the tools that Nietzsche offered to break free. So I must ask you, before we begin, are you tired of being a reflection in the eyes of others? Are you ready to stop begging for acceptance and start creating yourself? If so, then you are ready to hear what Nietzsche has to say. To understand why the pull of approval is so strong, we must first understand the world we are born into. Nietzsche said that we don't just inherit our eye color or a family name, we inherit a whole system of right and wrong, a pre-packaged set of rules about what is good and what is bad. But who made these rules? Nietzsche's answer is unsettling. He argued that for centuries, society has been dominated by what he called the mindset of the herd. This isn't a set of rules for the strong, the independent, or the exceptional. It's a set of rules made by the group, for the group, to protect the group from anyone who might stand out or rise above. Think about the virtues that this system praises. What is considered good? To be humble, to be obedient, to be patient, to be agreeable, to put others first. These are the qualities of a perfect sheep. They ensure the group remains stable, predictable, and, most importantly, safe. And what is considered bad under this system? Pride, ambition, a strong will, a desire to create one's own path. Anything that makes an individual stand out, anything that introduces risk or challenges the established order. The things that society calls bad are often just the natural instincts of a powerful spirit. This group mindset is a brilliant defense mechanism. It teaches you to feel guilty for your own strength. It conditions you to believe that your desire to be great is a sin, that your highest duty is to shrink yourself so that others do not feel small. And the most powerful tool this system uses to keep you in line is approval. When you conform, when you obey, when you act like a good member of the herd, you are rewarded with praise, with acceptance, with likes, with belonging. This approval feels like warmth, like safety. But Nietzsche warns us that it is the warmth of a prison, the safety of a cage. Conversely, when you step out of line, when you express an unpopular opinion, when you choose a difficult path, when you prioritize your own growth over the comfort of the group, what happens? The herd reacts. It uses its most potent weapons: disapproval, judgment, ridicule, isolation. This feels cold, dangerous. It is meant to. It is the system's way of forcing stray sheep back into the fold. So, when you feel that desperate pang for validation, that fear of being judged, you are not just having a moment of insecurity. You are feeling the weight of 2,000 years of the herd's mindset pressing down on you. You are feeling the psychic chains that were forged long before you were born. You are reacting exactly as you were programmed to do. You believe you are choosing to be a good person, but in reality, you are often just choosing to be an obedient one. And Nietzsche asks the most terrifying question of all. What happens if everyone succeeds? What is the final destination for our humanity that has perfected the art of seeking approval? His answer is a vision so bleak, it should shake you to your core. Nietzsche was a prophet of the human soul, and like all prophets, he saw not only the present sickness but also the future it would create. He gave this future a name, the last man. If you continue to live your life chasing approval, if you make comfort and the good opinion of others your highest goal, you are walking the path toward becoming this creature. So, what is the last man? Imagine a world where all struggle has been eliminated. There is no more danger, no more great suffering, but also no more great passion. There is no more ambition, no more striving, no more reaching for the stars. There is only comfort. The last man is the citizen of this world. He works a little for his warmth, he has his little pleasures for the day, and his little pleasures for the night. He is careful with his health. He has abandoned the regions where it was hard to live, because one needs warmth. The last man looks at anyone who still feels a desire for greatness, anyone who is willing to risk, to suffer, to create, and he blinks. He cannot understand them. Why would anyone choose hardship over comfort? Why would anyone risk the disapproval of the herd? The last man thinks he and his kind have discovered happiness. But it is a shallow, pathetic happiness. It is the happiness of a cow chewing its cud in a warm barn, unaware of the vast, starry sky outside. They have a little poison now and then, says Nietzsche, to make for pleasant dreams. And a lot of poison at the end, for a pleasant death. They no longer have any reverence or any contempt. They are all equal. There are no more shepherds, only one herd. Everyone wants the same thing, everyone is the same. And anyone who feels differently goes voluntarily into the madhouse. This is the ultimate consequence of a life lived for approval. You trade your soul for comfort. You trade the chaotic, beautiful, painful journey of becoming an individual for the predictable, sterile, and meaningless existence of being a number in the crowd. When you censor your thoughts to fit in, you are taking a step toward the last man. When you choose a career you hate because it is safe and respectable, you are taking a step toward the last man. When you surround yourself only with people who agree with you and avoid all intellectual challenges, you are taking a step toward the last man. Nietzsche presents this vision not to make you despair, but to awaken you. He holds up this horrifying mirror and says, "Look, this is what you are becoming. Is this what you want?" He believed that deep within the human spirit, even in our modern, comfortable age, there is still a yearning for more, a disgust with this vision of a bland, painless existence. And that disgust, that feeling of nausea when you look at the last man, is the beginning of your salvation. It is the first sign that you are not meant for the herd. It is the call to begin the most difficult journey of all, the journey of becoming who you are. Once you have looked at this bleak future and turned away in disgust, the real work begins. The path away from the crowd is not a simple one. Nietzsche described this spiritual journey as 3 great transformations of the spirit. It begins with the camel, moves to the lion, and finally becomes the child. To break the chains of approval, you must understand which stage you are in. The first stage is the camel. The camel is the spirit of duty and burden. It kneels down and asks, "What is my heaviest burden?" so that it can take it upon its back and trudge out into the desert. The camel represents the stage where we are still ruled by the mindset of the herd. We carry the weight of tradition, the expectations of our family, the rules of our society. We live by a code of thou shalt. Thou shalt be humble, thou shalt be helpful, thou shalt please others. The camel finds its worth in how much it can carry, how well it obeys. This is the approval-seeking stage in its purest form. You are a beast of burden, and the load you carry is the good opinion of others. But out in the loneliest desert, a transformation occurs. The camel becomes a lion. The lion is the spirit of rebellion and freedom. Its sacred word is not "thou shalt," but "I will." The lion does not want to carry burdens. It wants to be the king of its own desert. It confronts the great dragon on which all the values of the past are written. This dragon's name is "thou shalt," and on every scale of this dragon, a golden rule glitters. The lion fights this dragon. It says no to the values it was forced to carry. It rejects the morality of the herd. It wants to create freedom for itself, to be the master of its own will. This is a necessary stage of destruction. You must tear down the prison before you can build a home. You must learn to say no to the world before you can say a true yes to yourself. This stage is often angry, defiant, and lonely. You are fighting for your own territory, and the herd will not give it up easily. They will call you selfish, arrogant, and destructive, and the lion embraces this. It needs to destroy the old values to clear the way for a new creation. But even the lion cannot create new values. It can only win freedom. For the ultimate act of creation, a final transformation is needed. The lion must become a child. The child is innocence and forgetting, a new beginning, a game, a self-propelling wheel, a first movement, a sacred yes. The child does not act out of duty like the camel, or out of defiance like the lion. The child acts out of pure, creative joy. Having won its freedom, the spirit can now create its own world, its own values, its own game. The child says yes to life, not because it is good or bad according to some external standard, but simply because it is. This is the state beyond the need for approval. The child plays. It creates its own rules. It does not look to others for validation because its joy comes from the act of creation itself. It has become its own source of meaning. This journey from camel to child is the path of overcoming your old self. It is a painful, lonely, and difficult process. But it is Nietzsche's answer to the question of how to live. You must first bear the weight of the world, then you must fight for your freedom from it, and finally, you must learn to create your own world with the innocence and joy of a child. The heart of Nietzsche's revolution is not just about saying no to the crowd. That is the work of the lion, and it is only the second step. The final and most difficult task is to create your own values. Nietzsche called this a re-evaluation of all values. This is one of his most misunderstood ideas. It does not mean you should embrace chaos, cruelty, or what society calls bad. It means you must become the lawmaker for your own life. You have to put the values you were taught on trial. You must take every idea of good and bad that was handed to you, hold it up to the light, and ask a single ruthless question. Does this value help me live more fully? Does it help me grow? Does it make me stronger and more capable of overcoming challenges? Take, for example, the virtue of pity. The mindset of the herd tells you that pity is one of the highest goods. To feel pity for the suffering is to be a good person. But Nietzsche asks you to look closer. What does pity actually do? Often, he argues, it multiplies suffering. It keeps people in a state of weakness. It can be a way for the person feeling pity to feel superior, to feel powerful over the one who is suffering. He suggests that a truer virtue might be a kind of tough love, one that encourages the suffering person to overcome their own pain, to grow stronger from it, rather than wallowing in it. He is not saying you should be cruel. He is saying you must question whether the accepted value of pity is always life-affirming, or consider the value of security. The herd tells you that security is paramount. A secure job, a secure relationship, a secure belief system. But what if this obsession with security is what prevents you from ever taking a risk, from ever growing, from ever truly living? Perhaps for your life, a value like courage or a willingness to embrace uncertainty is far more important. This is a terrifying responsibility. It is much easier to accept a pre-made set of rules than to forge your own compass. Forging your own compass means you might get lost. It means you will walk alone. When you stop measuring your worth by the yardstick of the crowd, you become incomprehensible to them. Your choices will not make sense to them. Your joys will seem strange, and your sorrows will seem pointless. This is the price of freedom. To stop chasing approval means you must be willing to be misunderstood. It means that the praise of the crowd will no longer feel like a reward, and their condemnation will no longer feel like a punishment. You become your own judge. You decide what is high and what is low. You write your own law upon your own tablets. This is the ultimate act of an individual spirit. It is the moment you stop being a creation of your society and start becoming the creator of yourself. This is the lonely, windswept peak that Nietzsche points to, far above the comfortable, noisy pastures of the herd. As you walk this difficult path, creating your own rules and standing alone, you will face pain, hardship, and rejection. The crowd will turn on you. Your own past will haunt you. You will make mistakes. The usual response is to feel regret, to wish things had been different, to look back and think, if only that hadn't happened, I would be happy. Nietzsche offers a final, powerful idea for a great life, a way to transform every single moment, past, present, and future. He calls it amor fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of your fate. This isn't just about putting up with your past. It is an active, passionate, joyful embrace of everything that has ever happened to you. It is the desire for nothing to be different, not in the past, not now, not ever. This means looking at your life with all its triumphs and all its disasters, all its moments of joy, and all its periods of excruciating pain, and saying to it, yes, I would have it so. I would live the same life again and again for all eternity. Why would anyone do this? Because the person who can truly say this has achieved the ultimate form of self-affirmation. They understand that every single event, every mistake, every heartbreak, every moment of rejection was a necessary ingredient in forging the person they are today. To wish away a single moment of your past is to wish that you were not you. To regret a failure is to regret the lesson that made you stronger. To curse a betrayal is to curse the event that made you wiser. The follower of amor fati does not distinguish between good and bad experiences. They are all just fuel. They are all just material for the great work of art that is their life. When you truly love your fate, the concept of approval becomes meaningless. You no longer need someone else to validate your life because you have validated it yourself, in its entirety. You don't need praise for your successes, because you also love your failures. You don't fear condemnation for your choices, because you embrace the consequences as part of the path you willed. This is the final liberation. It is the mindset of the creator who looks upon their creation, their own life, and says, it is good. Not because it is perfect, not because it was painless, but because it is theirs. It is the ultimate yes to existence, a resounding declaration that your life, exactly as it was and is not only acceptable, but necessary and beautiful. This is the highest state Nietzsche could imagine for a human being, to become a self-creator who dances and laughs in the face of destiny, loving every step of the journey. We have walked a long and difficult road together, from the suffocating comfort of the herd to the lonely peaks of self-creation. We have seen how the chase for approval is a trap set by a group mindset, designed to keep you safe but small. We have stared into the face of its ultimate consequence, the pathetic comfort of the last man. We have traced the path of transformation, from the dutiful camel, through the rebellious lion to the creative child. And we have arrived at the ultimate formula for a life lived beyond approval, the love of one's fate. Nietzsche's philosophy is not a comforting lullaby. It is a blast of a trumpet meant to awaken you from your slumber. It is a challenge. He does not offer you happiness. He offers you greatness. He does not promise you peace. He promises you a battle. The battle is against the weakest, most fearful, most approval-seeking parts of yourself. To stop chasing approval is to declare your independence from the mental and emotional world that has shaped you. It means choosing the anxiety of freedom over the comfort of slavery. It means accepting that you may be misunderstood, disliked, and lonely. But it also means that you will finally be able to breathe. You will finally be able to create. You will finally be able to live a life that is authentically your own, a life that you would not trade for any other, a life you would be willing to live again and again. The choice is yours. You can remain in the warm, safe barn with the rest of the herd, chewing on the cud of secondhand opinions and fleeting praise. Or you can step out into the storm, into the beautiful, terrifying wilderness of your own soul, and begin the work of becoming who you are. The path is not for everyone, but if his words have sparked something in you, a flicker of defiance, a yearning for something more, then perhaps it is the path for you. So I will leave you with this question. What is one thou shalt, one rule from the herd that you have always followed without question, that you are now willing to put on trial? What is one piece of the world's approval that you are willing to sacrifice in the name of your own becoming? Let us know in the comments below. Let this be the first act of your quiet rebellion. If you are ready to continue this journey of challenging everything you thought you knew, then subscribe to this channel. Because the hammer of philosophy has only just begun to strike. See you next time.